Well, hello there. I'm Lance, and welcome to Dozing Off. Dozing Off is a podcast where I'm going to read you to sleep. I'll narrate short stories and classic literature in this deep and relaxing tone to allow you to put your overactive mind at ease and doze off. Look, I know you're probably getting sick of these Christmas stories, but I couldn't pass up on this one, so just bear with me. Last one of the year, I promise. Tonight, what I have for you is The Grinch and the Longest Winter Night. As we get closer to finishing up 2025, I just want you to know how much I appreciate you for making dozing off part of your bedtime routine. I love reading these stories. I love interacting with you all. It's almost like a dream come true in a sense for me. Such a blessing to be able to sit here in my bedroom and just read random stories, and it actually helps people in a way. So, thank you so much. And let's dive into tonight's story. The Grinch and the Longest Winter Night. High above the town of Whoville, where the lights twinkled and the snow fell softly like it had all the time in the world, the Grinch sat alone in his cave and listened to the wind. It had been a long winter already. Longer than most. The kind of winter that didn't just settle into the bones, but into the thoughts. The kind that made the nights feel endless and the mornings arrive without enthusiasm. The Grinch wrapped his scarf tighter around his neck and stared out the small, frosted window carved into the rock. From up here, the town looked peaceful, almost unreal. Strings of lights would round rooftops. Smoke curled lazily from chimneys. Somewhere far below, a bell chimed softly. He scowled, out of habit more than conviction. Too cheerful, he muttered. But even as he said it, his voice lacked its usual bite. The Grinch had been angry for a long time. So long, in fact, that he barely remembered when it started. At first, the anger had felt sharp, useful even. It gave him something to hold on to when the world felt loud and overwhelming. It kept people at a distance. It protected him. But lately, the anger felt different. Heavier. Tired. Like a coat he'd worn through too many winters and could no longer take off, even when it no longer fit. The Grinch sank into his chair, the old wooden legs creaking in sympathy. Max, his loyal dog, lifted his head from the rug and watched him with patient eyes. "What are you looking at?" the Grinch asked. Max wagged his tail once and rested his chin back down. The Grinch sighed. "That's what I thought." This night, The longest night of the year seemed determined to stretch on forever. The moon rose slowly, pale and distant, casting silver shadows across the snow. The Grinch tried everything he normally did to distract himself. He reorganized his drawers again. He paced the cave, counting his steps. He flipped through an old book he'd read too many times. Nothing worked. Down below, Whoville grew quieter as the hour grew later. The songs faded. The laughter softened. Lights blinked off, one by one. And for the first time, instead of feeling relieved by the silence, the Grinch felt curious. What happens, he wondered aloud, when all the noise stops? Max's ear twitched. As the cave settled into stillness, a memory crept in uninvited. The Grinch didn't like memories much. They had a way of showing up when you weren't prepared for them. He remembered being younger, smaller, standing at the edge of Whoville during a winter festival, hands shoved into sleeves that were just a little too short. He remembered the warmth drifting through the air, carried by laughter and shared mugs of something sweet. He remembered wanting to step closer. And then, just as clearly, he remembered stopping himself. The Grinch shifted in his chair. That was a long time ago, he muttered. But memories, much like winter nights, don't care how long ago something was. For years, the Grinch had told himself a story. That he hated Christmas because it was noisy, because it was wasteful, because it was fake. And maybe parts of that were true. But as he sat there on the longest winter night, with nothing left to distract him, another thought surfaced. What if the noise wasn't the problem? What if the silence scared him more? The Grinch frowned at the thought, as if it had personally offended him. Nonsense, he said. But his voice echoed back, unconvinced. There was a knock at the cave door. The Grinch nearly jumped out of his chair. No, he said firmly, absolutely not. The knock came again. Soft, polite. Max was already on his feet, tail wagging cautiously. Ignore it, the Grinch whispered. Another knock. With a dramatic groan, the Grinch stomped to the door and flung it open. Standing there, bundled in a thick coat and clutching a small lantern, was a Whoville mail carrier. Older, kind-eyed, unbothered by the cold. Evening, the man said gently. Sorry to bother you. The Grinch crossed his arms. You are bothering me. The man smiled. Yes, well, this one's important. He handed over a small envelope. The Grinch eyed it suspiciously. What is it? A letter, the man said, addressed to you. The Grinch frowned. No one writes me. The man chuckled. Seems someone did. After the mail carrier left, the Grinch stood frozen, staring at the envelope. Max sniffed it. I don't trust it, the Grinch said. Eventually, curiosity won. He opened the letter. The handwriting was careful, slower than most. Dear Grinch, I don't expect a reply. I just wanted to say that this season is hard for me too. I used to think I was the only one who felt overwhelmed by it all. Seeing you up there, choosing quiet, reminded me that it's okay to step back sometimes. Thank you for making space for people like me. A neighbor. The Grinch read it twice. Then a third time. He sat down heavily. Well, he said, that's inconvenient. The letter rested on the table beside him, glowing softly in the lantern light. For the first time in a long while, the Grinch didn't quite feel so alone in his dislike of the season. Someone else felt it too. Not anger, overwhelm. The Grinch leaned back and stared at the ceiling. Maybe his distance hadn't been rejection. Maybe it had been survival. The thought settled over him like a blanket. Without fully deciding to, the Grinch pulled on his coat. Max's ears perked up. Don't get excited, the Grinch said. We're just walking. The snow crunched beneath their feet as they made their way down the mountain. The world felt hushed, as if holding its breath. When they reached the edge of Whoville, the Grinch stopped. He didn't go in. He just stood there, watching, listening, feeling. As the hours passed, the Grinch noticed something subtle. The night wasn't endless. It was simply slow. And slow, he realized, wasn't a bad thing. When the first hint of dawn touched the sky, pale and gentle, the Grinch felt something unfamiliar. Relief. Not because anything had changed, but because he had stayed. He hadn't run from the quiet. He hadn't filled it with anger. He had let it be. The Grinch returned home just as the sun rose. He made tea. He fed Max. He sat by the window and watched the light grow. For the first time, Christmas didn't feel like something he had to fight. It felt like something he could approach carefully, on his own terms. The longest winter night had passed. And the Grinch, still grumpy, still guarded, felt just a little lighter. Not transformed, not fixed, just rested. And for now, that was enough. As the Grinch's cave grew quiet once more, the mountain settling into its familiar stillness, the world seemed to exhale with him. There was nothing left to solve, nothing left to prove. The longest winter night had come and gone, and in its place remained a simple truth. Rest does not require permission. So, if you're listening now, let yourself follow that same rhythm. Slow, unhurried, kind. The day has asked enough of you. You can loosen your thoughts, soften your breathing, and allow the quiet to hold you for a while. Like the Grinch, you don't need to change anything to be at peace in this very moment. Just stay, just rest, and let sleep arrive in its own gentle time. Merry Christmas to you, and I hope you sleep well. Good night.